Hey folks, Steven here and welcome into TK Power Sports. Well, you know it's going to be a good one because we've got sun, waves, and this, the 2026 Yamaha GP1800R SVHO. This is the most bonkers performance wave runner that Yamaha makes, and I'm going to review it for you right now, so make sure you stay tuned. Let's start with the important numbers. So overall length here on this unit comes in at 131.9 inches. The width or the beam comes in at 48.8 inches. Overall height is 47.2 inches. And the dry weight is listed at 758 pounds. Now fuel capacity on this unit is 18.5 US gallons or 70 liters. Seating capacity is for 1, 2, 3 people. And storage capacity comes in at 107.6 liters, which is 28.4 US gallons. Powering the GP1800R is the 1.8 liter Super Vortex high output engine. That means it's supercharged. It's a 4-cylinder and it makes about 250 horsepower, allowing this machine to jump from 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. Now, just before we hit the water and I show you how ridiculous this thing is, let's talk about the practical side of things. You got to start with the storage. So right here, we do have this nose storage right here, which is pretty deep. You can see we have all our safety stuff in there and buoys and a paddle. Now, this is the one issue, and this is kind of the traditional PWC storage setup. It is hard to kind of get down in here. You got to really reach over those handlebars. You're not getting here on the move, right? You got to stop and reach up in there, but you can access it. And it is nice for a performance machine to still have that nose storage. Now, besides that, I do have a storage under the seat back here. And I like this one because it's a little bin that you can actually remove. So you can pack your stuff in there and then take it with you wherever you're going, onto an island or something, and then throw it back in when you're done. Finally, there is one storage right here, right in front of the rider, which is fairly deep. It does have a rubber liner in it, which is kind of nice. So yeah, a good spot for your phone, something like that. I am just double checking though. There is no phone actual holder in this one. So yeah, everything that's going in there is just going to be loose. Now, talking about sort of utility and accessibility, I also like this nice tilt on these handlebars. And this makes a big difference when you're standing up. Bringing them up there makes you much more comfortable, whereas when you're sitting down, bring them down low, same thing. It's a nice height for your hands. So I do like just sort of the ergonomics of this machine. Now, talking about sort of the way you sit on this seat, and I'm gonna start comparing it to the Sea-Doo because I was just recently on the RXP-X and the RXT-X. The Sea-Doos, you really do kind of sit down in them. They have a tendency to kind of allow you to hug your legs. The Waverunner feels just a bit bigger. You feel like you're sitting up a little bit taller. I'm not easily able to kind of really grab it with my legs and my thighs, at least not as easily as the Sea-Doo. So just from a dock perspective, sitting here, this doesn't feel as kind of performance oriented as the Sea-Doo does just when you're sitting on it based on sort of the cockpit and the seat. But of course, the real test is going to be out there in the waves. Let's take a look at the technology here now. So you do get this kind of small but LCD screen up in front of you. You have to control it using your buttons down here. This one is not a touch screen up there, so you can't reach up and touch it. That's fine, especially for a performance machine. Sorry, I should talk about this. So there's your main gauge, fuel, RPM, your trim, your speed. There's your trip and your fuel info. This is your drive control. This is going to allow you to set the auto trim right there, which, as the name suggests, will trim for you automatically. And then you can also set the acceleration, whether you want to back off on the power or let this thing get full power. Now you can see this is for music. I don't have my phone hooked up, but one thing I want to point out, the audio system here is now from Yamaha. Yamaha is a crazy company. They make all kinds of stuff, including speakers. We finally have Yamaha audio on Yamaha machine. That makes all the sense in the world. Now, over here we have settings. So you have Bluetooth, your wellness, and your pin settings. And the pin is cool on these things because the key here is very simple. It's very easy to steal a Waverunner. You just got to pull that pin up and you can start it. However, you can lock it up here using a number pin, a 4-digit pin, and then you need to know those 4 digits to start the machine. So I like that for the sake of security. And that is about it. This is not the most tech-forward machine on the market, but once again, that's not what it's going for. There are a few slow speed drive modes here I want to show off. So first of all, you have no wake mode, and I'm in a marina right now, so this is a no wake area. And rather than having to sit there and just kind of feather the throttle, you can just put it into no wake mode and hit the button, and away you go. There's no wake 1, and that's going to bring me along at a steady 4 miles per hour, 5 miles per hour. And I don't have to touch a thing, I can just be hands-free. And that's the key with no wake mode. is then you don't got to sit there in an uncomfortable position when you're trying to, get up and out of the marina. So nice to have that. And then of course, with the Waverunner, the basic operation here, once you just touch either one of the levers, that shuts off. And I should go over that as well, just in case you've never been on a Waverunner. I think this is a pretty common sense setup. The right lever over here is to go forward, the left one is to go in reverse. If you just tap the right one, you're now in forward, tap the left, you're now in neutral, hold the left, you're now going backwards. And when you are moving at speed, you can grab the left lever and it will act as a bit of a water brake. It's not super aggressive, but it is there. Now the one other mode I want to show you is the TDE forward and TDE reverse. This is essentially a docking mode. So same as no wake, but it's going to be even slower. So when I'm here in neutral, I hit the up button. Now I am in TDE forward, and you're going to see I'm not touching a thing, and it's just going to start creeping forward incredibly slowly. And I like this. I think this makes a lot of sense. I think that most Waverunner riders will agree. Once you've docked enough times, yeah, you get good at it. You don't need something like this, but especially when you're just beginning, this makes it so much easier. And then watch, I hit down, now I'm in neutral. I hit back, now I'm in TDE reverse. Look, it's gonna stop itself. Oh, isn't that just beautiful? Nice and controlled and calm. And once again, you never have to touch the throttle. You're never at risk of maybe burping it a little bit too much and hitting your dock. So I do like the TDE mode here too, and all the slow speed modes. But now finally, let's get out there and hit some high speeds. Well now, folks, we're out here on the water. We're on Lake Muskoka today here in Ontario. We've been having a blast riding this thing. And let's talk power first of all. So this is Yamaha's 1.8 liter supercharged engine, 250 horsepower, and it is bonkers. It absolutely rips up and out of the water. I absolutely believe the claim of 0 to 60 in 4 seconds or less than 4 seconds. And even with me on it, a big heavy rider, when I was pulling those tight turns and kind of stuffing it in and losing momentum, you pin it and it just jumps right back up out of the water. So I would never complain about the power here, but you do have to acknowledge that both Kawasaki and Sea-Doo do have more powerful PWCs, but don't forget, this is Yamaha's old 1.8 liter marine engine. In the meantime, they've introduced the new 1.9 liter, and they have not supercharged that new power plant yet. So I do expect within probably 2 model years, hopefully, we get the supercharged 1.9, and then I hope Yamaha pushes up to at least 300 horsepower, because if they want to compete, that's where they need to be. But again, don't get me wrong, the power here is still crazy. And don't forget, all PWCs per the US Coast Guard have to be speed limited at 69 miles per hour. So they're all hitting the same top speed. It just depends how quickly you're actually getting there. So yeah, hopefully in the near future, Yamaha will bump up that horsepower, but still, I would never complain about this. It's absolutely crazy power here. In fact, it is so powerful that I've really noticed the cavitation today. When you do pin this thing, it just kind of takes a second to really get enough water in there to get you moving. So I've actually found myself kind of feathering the throttle in rather than just grabbing it straight to the bar, every time kind of leaning into it a little bit more. And I actually think you end up getting better acceleration if you do that, rather than just, pinning it right from zero. Now we have to talk about handling, and compared to anything else in the Waverunner lineup, an FX Cruiser, a VX Cruiser, even the little Jet Blaster, the handling here is knife edge sharp. Sharp is the best word for it. You throw it into a corner almost regardless of the speed, and it just responds. It dives into that corner, it digs into the water, which gives you that bite. It gives you those G-forces into your body. You really got to hold on to this thing. But if that's what you're looking for, absolute thrills on the water, this is no doubt the best Waverunner in the lineup. Now I do have to compare it to Sea-Doo though, and I was recently on the RXT-X and the RXP-X, and I will say the RXP-X does feel actually a little bit sharper, but almost to the point of being twitchy. That thing, you barely turn the handlebars and it dives into a corner. Now don't get me wrong, if you're searching for utmost thrills and performance, I do think the Sea-Doo still has a bit of an edge here on the GP, but what I was feeling here today is knife edge sharp handling without that sort of need to always be grabbing the bars. You're not white knuckling like I felt like I was doing on the Sea-Doo. So I do feel like this is more accessible for more people. This thing is not gonna scare you off when you jump on it and go, oh my gosh, it's just crazy powerful and the handling is just so twitchy. This just, yeah, it dives into a corner just a little bit slower than the Sea-Doo does. Still plenty to have a great time, and that's why I think for most amateur riders, and that's what most people buying PWCs are, they're gonna get more performance out of this thing quicker. Now sure, you could bring your level up to sort of the level of the Sea-Doo, that's fine, and it's going to handle incredibly well, but you can jump on this having known not that much about PWCs, and I feel like extract more performance than you could on the Sea-Doo right away. So again, it's a bit of a nuanced take. Overall, I do think the Sea-Doo is a better handling machine, but I also think this is just going to make a larger group of people happy out here on the water that are searching for thrills, and again, don't get me wrong, this thing is absolutely thrilling. So I just want to show you guys one other thing. There's no doubt that at slow speeds, this GP can sort of nosedive a little bit. I feel like the nose sits kind of low in the water. Now again, granted, I'm a big heavy rider, 270 pounds, so that's definitely part of it, but that's not something I really noticed on the Sea-Doo as much. Now, you do have auto trim here, which will, like the name suggests, trim automatically based on how you're riding, and then you can also control the trim. So I have been finding myself at slower speeds, basically trimming the bow all the way up, and then once I get going, bringing it down a bit. Now, another thing I want to talk about is just slow speed stability, because this unit is pretty skinny and it's pretty short compared to the other Waverunners. That's what gives you the knife sharp performance, but it also leads to a pretty tippy machine at the dock. Like you can see, I could pretty easily make it take on water into the footwells there. And that's one of the trade-offs. And it's something that manufacturers of these things have heard for years, that people are always worried about getting on and off them on the dock. So yes, this thing is gonna be just that much tippier. You're gonna have to pay that much more attention, but you gotta give up something somewhere, and that's what you're giving up here. So if you want that super stable, slow speed cruiser, it's not this thing. And that's okay, because it doesn't promise to be that. If you want crazy performance, you come to the GP and you won't be disappointed. Okay folks, let's find out what the top speed is. And with that, folks, we are coming to the end of this video. Now, I will say, if you want the absolute craziest performance in the PWC industry, I still think that belongs to Sea-Doo, but don't let that make you think that this GP1800R is anything but bonkers. And I actually believe the performance here is probably more accessible to more people. And as a general market machine, that honestly might be more important. But yes, this thing is crazy and I had a blast riding it today. So that's it for this one. So now please drop in the comments, let me know what you think of everything you've seen in this video and this GP1800R. As always, while you're down below, make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, hit the hype button, give us the hype, that helps us out. And then make sure you come right back here to the channel and see what we're testing next. And if you'll excuse me, I got lots more riding to do. See ya.